Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of DLB TV. If you guys haven't checked out part 1, make sure you guys head over to that video and check out part 1 before you watch part 2, because you're cheating. You're cheating. Anyways, to continue on from the last video, last thing we discussed was, how you'll basically be able to go into the store and instantly, eventually, because of Gaikai, start to just instantly start playing a demo of the game instead of having to download it. Similar to Netflix, you go to Netflix online or on your TV or wherever you may have it, on your phone, iPad, and you just instantly start watching a movie. I think that's going to be the case eventually for demos and things of that nature via Gaikai, so that's going to be awesome. One of the other features they announced was being able to, and this one is big for me, being able to leave your system in a low-powered state. It saves the information from your game to the cloud. You leave, do whatever, come back, turn the console on, and you're right where you're left off. That's picture if you have a smartphone, you go into an app, lock your phone, leave, come back, unlock your phone, you're right there in that app. Same thing with the laptop. Open your laptop, you're right where you're left off. You don't have to restart the operating system. That is so huge for me because, again, it doesn't take forever, but sometimes when I want to hurry up and get to a game because, I don't know, maybe my wife is taking too long to get ready and I just want to do something during that downtime period for a good, quick 5 to 10 minutes, I have to wait for the PS3 to load up, and then you have to put in the disc, and the disc has to load it, and the game has to load. Then you have to go through the game menus telling you who the game was made by. Then you have to choose, which game type you want to play. It would be so much simpler if I just hit the button and I'm instantly right where I left off. I think that's going to be so huge, and a lot of people aren't really talking about that. Some people are even downplaying it, but I think that's a huge feature because I can't tell you how many times I've been playing a game like NBA 2K. And there's a lot of sports games, for that matter, where you can't save in the middle of the game. NBA 2K allows you to. Madden, they're off and on with it. Sometimes they let you, sometimes they don't. But that would be so awesome. My wife, she's like, I'm ready to go. I just hit the power button. I know my game is saved. It's in a low power state. I leave, come back, turn the game on. I'm right there in the second quarter like I was before I left. I think that is going to be a huge feature, especially for me. Next up is the broadcasting mode, the spectator mode. This is a feature that I have been begging, crawling, and screaming for. Thank you, Sony and Ustream and Gaikai. I have been wanting this on a console for so long. I'm that gamer who will just chill. I love gaming. It's a piece of my heart. I love the gaming industry. I can sit back literally and watch somebody else game. I have no issue doing that. I would love to sit back and just think about celebrities out there who may want to you may want to follow them as they're playing or something like that, or some kind of charity event or what have you. There's just endless possibilities of what this could be used for and how awesome it's going to be for not just the gaming industry, but anybody out there who just, as you guys can see, I love this feature. I mean, just think about, just sitting back, watching your friends play a game. You may not necessarily want to play. I can't tell you how many times I've been in Call of Duty. Perfect example, because the PlayStation 3 doesn't have this yet, but on Xbox 360, we all know there's a party system. And so I'll be in a party with some of my friends, and while I may not necessarily feel like playing Call of Duty at that time, I don't want to disconnect from the experience. I would like to still sit there and chill and, grab a bite to eat and watch them while they continue to play. Sony is finally offering that feature. Like if I'm like, all right, guys, I'm done. You'll load up a live stream or something so I can finish watching you guys play. Log into the live stream. Now I'm watching them play. And here's the kicker. Here's the huge part. Go ahead and throw up the screenshot. On this screenshot, it says buy, join, or command. So while I'm spectating these guys, watching these guys play online, whatever, I then can be like, okay, I'm done eating. Let's jump back in. I click join game, and now I'm right back with my boys where we left off. That's, if there's a space available on their team, because, somebody could have jumped in. The room's probably full at the time. But in a perfect world, in a perfect situation, there's a space there. I click join, and I jump in. That's huge. Not only did they give us spectator mode, people can comment on your video. You can see how many people are watching. People can either buy the game if they don't own it. They can join the game if you allow them to join. And the biggest feature of all is they can actually take control of your game. There's so many different questions that I have about that, and I hope they answer at E3. Does a person have to own the game in order for them to take command of the game? How is that going to look? Is it going to be laggy? Is it going to be sketchy? Is there going to be a delay between me pushing a square button and actually acting on screen? Because again, I'm playing through somebody else's connection, server, what have you, but there's just a lot of questions there. But at any rate, that is huge. I mean, we've been doing remote access on PC for years, and that's essentially what that is. So that's going to be awesome. I cannot wait for that feature. I've been begging, pleading, and crawling for a profile system. From the looks of the screenshot that I'm showing you now, it looks like that's finally going to be the case. Now, hopefully we can access, well, actually Sony did answer that. They said you'll be able to see this on your phone, tablet, I'm pretty sure computer, so on and so forth. So that's awesome. So we finally have that, thank goodness. Diablo 3. Let me tell you guys something. I'm not a huge PC gamer. I was light years ago, but I'm not a huge PC gamer. But I understand how huge the Diablo franchise is. And for Sony to get Diablo on the PlayStation 4 and 3, that's huge. That's very telling. Wow, watch out. You guys could be coming soon. But to give you guys a perfect example, the last time I played Diablo was the original Diablo. Haven't played a Diablo since. But because this is coming to consoles, I may now actually pick up and play and even buy this game. It's huge on both hats. It's huge for Sony to lock down a PC game, and it's huge for Diablo, because you're now bringing people into this world that may have never came to it before because they're not PC gamers. So I think that's huge on both parts. Drive Club. Man, I wonder how Polyphony feels about this game. But either way, Drive Club, awesome. I'm a community gamer. I'm a co-op whore. Just like there's trophy whores, I'm co-op whores. It can be the shittiest of shitty co-op games. If somebody's like, hey man, let's play this game, we'll play it. If you don't believe me, ask my boy SK9, shout out to Silver K9. We played Army of 2, and that game was boo-boo. But because it was co-op, hey man, we played all the way through it. So I love co-op games, love them. So Drive Club, I love that. I love what I heard from it. I like the fact that you'll be able to set up challenges from your smartphone, console, PC, and send it out to the world, and people will be able to, try and complete the challenge. I've never been real big of the first-person mode in racing games. I'm the guy that likes to see the vehicle. I like it in third-person mode when it comes to racing games. So this one may be a miss for me. I may rent it since, Sony's allowing used games. Yes. So I may rent it, but, we'll see what happens. And then the specs of the console. I mean, Sony being Sony, they spec'd out their console. So you got a 80, oh my God, 8 gigs of DDR5. That spec alone is very telling, but this is the crazy part. How much is this console gonna cost? Because 8 gigs DDR5, that's like $200-300 alone. Now granted, I know Sony's gonna get this at a wholesale price, but still, that's still not cheap when you putting this into millions and millions and millions of consoles. So that alone just makes me wonder. They're using wireless in for their Wi-Fi, HDMI, Bluetooth, gigabit Ethernet connector for people like myself who like to be hardwired in when it comes to online gaming. USB 3.0. So with USB 3.0, you get fast transfers, and although my computer isn't USB 3.0, I'm going to give me a USB 3.0 flash drive so I can transfer files between the two. Who knows? Maybe they'll offer wireless transfers from your PC to your PlayStation 3 or Mac, whatever you have. They didn't tell how much hard drive space is going to be there. I'm assuming it's because, like they said in the rumor, or not in the rumors, but in the interviews they've done, the final specs aren't finalized yet. So I think it depends on the cost of this thing. I think that's what's going to determine the size of the hard drive that they're going to put in there. Man, this thing's going to be a beast as far as power goes. I mean, just look at the things that they announced. I'm excited. I can't wait for the PlayStation 4. But before we get out of here, let's quickly go over the PlayStation Eye specs. Or the PlayStation Eye, the PlayStation 4i. I don't know why they're calling it PlayStation 4i. I would have preferred for them to call it the iHD, or PlayStation iHD, or PSIHD, or PlayStation Eye 2. You know, something along those lines. But whatever, PlayStation 4i, we'll run with it. The resolution is 1280 by 800. And then they have 3 separate picture modes. You have the 1280 by 800, which is 60 frames per second. You have 640 by 400, which is 120 frames per second. And then you have 320 by 192, which is 240 frames per second. That's fast as hell. Talk about doing some slow-mo videos. I'm about to be playing with that crap like crazy. Video format RAW. That's shocking. RAW format, huh, Sony? Do you got, for all of you guys that are photographers, videographers, if you guys don't know what RAW is, that means that's going to be an enormous file. And as far as the field of view, that's 85 degrees. They have a 4-channel array microphone on the top of it with a PS4 dedicated connector. So for all you guys who want to connect, I'm pretty sure it's going to be their own type of connector. It's not going to be a USB connector, something that's universal. It's going to be their own special Sony stuff. So, and then with the DualShock 4 controller, it has the PlayStation button, share button, option button, the directional pads, up, down, left, right, action buttons, triangle, square, circle, the R1, L1, R2, L2 buttons, which I'm so happy about the new triggers on there, left analog stick, right analog stick, L3, R3, which the analog sticks, from what we've heard, are tighter, which I'm so happy to get my hands on this controller. A 2-point touchpad, so that means it's dual touch, 2-finger touch, such as all iOS devices, smartphones, so on and so forth. With the click mechanism for all of you guys who have a MacBook Pro, and you know how you have to click on the trackpad. Not sure if PCs are the same way or not, so my apologies if there's PCs out there with the click on the trackpad. Cool stuff, you guys know what I'm talking about. 6-axis motion sensoring system, 3-axis gyroscope, and then 3-axis accelerometer. So when you talk about that controller being accurate as hell in your hands, between you moving it left, right, up, down, diagonal, 90 degrees, 45 degrees, all those angles, that controller is going to be super accurate. Light bar, vibration built in, mono speaker. I'm real curious to see how they use the mono speaker as well. Micro USB for charging, obviously, and who knows, maybe a peripheral. And then extension port, which is the port that's right there on the right-hand side or left-hand side of the stereo headphone jack. Has built-in Bluetooth 2.1 EDR, same as the prior controllers. So I'm curious to see what is the longevity of the controller from a charging standpoint. How long will it take to charge? How long will it take to, or how much playtime will you get out of it? Will the battery life be shorter than the last one? Because there's a lot of power packed into this controller, so I'm real curious. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of my video. Sony has finally announced the PlayStation 4. And man, when I tell you I can't wait, that is clearly an understatement. Leave me a comment below. Let me know how you guys feel. Let's discuss this. Let's talk about it. You guys want me to do some more videos on the PlayStation 4? Throw me out some video topics. Make sure you guys comment, subscribe, give the video a thumbs up if you like it. Hell, give it a thumbs down if you don't. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at DLB23. Check out the website, DLB-Network.com. And as always, if you're not subscribed to the podcast on iTunes, make sure you guys check out the podcast, comment on iTunes. And if you don't like iTunes, you can always go to our website and check out the podcast as well. For all of you guys that want to get your voice heard on the podcast, we actually have on the left side or right side of our website at DLB-Network.com where you can actually click on it and actually leave a voice memo question that I will play live on air as my crew and the self answer your question. Make sure that you include your GamerTag or PSN ID so when I shout you out, you can get credit. Thank you guys so much for supporting me over the years. It's crazy, man. We've came from the PlayStation 3 launch to now, the new PlayStation 4. It's been a long time going. I love you guys. Thank you for the support as always. Let's keep this gaming thing going. And as always, I'm out of here. Peace.